right back at you with another one. Here we go. Here we go. This is part two to the one I just dropped. Sherrod, Oblock, Sherrod, Oblock, Sherrod, Oblock, Sherrod. And I would be remiss if I didn't say rest in peace to Oblock, Sherrod. Now, if you haven't done so already, definitely subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Today starts a new day of potential Foia footage coming in and endless cases to read. So, you don't want to miss anything because really what it's doing is bringing a lot of information to the light. And yeah, this is the purpose. So this is the purpose. It's not anything nefarious of any sort. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started, and definitely hit that like button. That gets my videos up in your faces for you to see, and mainly if you're, this content can be for, a rainy day if you're bored and just, need something to listen to. This is what that is here for to do as well. You don't always have to watch it. Sometimes you can just let it play in the background. That is what I aim to do. So anyway, enough of my talking. We're going to jump into this. So we have a canvas report right here, and as we've been going through, there's really no need to reiterate the same things over and over again. So what I'll tend to do is just go to places of highlight, in these documents. I've read a lot of these documents, so I can kind of tell when things get repetitive. So if you see me scrolling and things without adding any context to that's probably why. I'm just trying to get you guys to the relevant information, and not waste anybody's time. All right. And so, yes, we're on part two. And as I said before, this one was about 100 pages. The other one was about 90 pages. So I definitely had to break this up into two. Anyway, jumping into it. All right. This is a field investigative canvas report. And this was submitted February 18th, 2012. Excuse me. And the suspects are still listed as unknown. And we'll scroll through. And I'll say, if you haven't watched the previous video, you definitely want to, because the second part, I'll be really just skimming through a lot of the things we went over in the first part. So here we are at an investigation. This is the assigned canvas report. On February 16, 2012, Sherrod Liggins was shot in the head after exiting a store at 64 Redacted, South Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Liggins remains in critical condition at Stroger Hospital. A canvass was conducted, and the results are as follows. So this is them canvassing the scene of the homicide, and I believe what they'll do is go talk to people. And so this first name is redacted, and it's vacant, listed under that. And it seems to be a name, and the date of birth is redacted, but the year is not, and the year is 54. And it says, refers to the scene supplemental report for interview for that individual. And then we have redacted, heard about 4 gunshots, didn't see anything. Redacted, no answer. Redacted, 1, heard about 6 gunshots. Redacted, vacant. Redacted, heard gunshots. So they're canvassing houses, from around the crime scene. Redacted wasn't home when shooting occurred. Redacted didn't see or hear anything. Redacted heard 7 gunshots. Redacted, vacant. Redacted, no answer. Redacted, no answer. Redacted didn't see or hear anything. Redacted, phone. Redacted, heard 5 gunshots. And then there's a redaction. All right, and then we have the word anonymous under that, and it's redacted. And we have on the next document, heard gunshots, A, redacted. Male black ran across Vernon and then ran along the building. Redacted, 1 male black, redacted. The pod camera on 64th and Eberhard might have captured him. The redacted male blacks went southbound. Redacted, the male blacks were young, maybe 17 years or younger, old or younger. Redacted heard the gunshots, stated that the basement apartment was vacant. And then we have AutoZone, 6401 South Dr. Martin Luther King Drive. Redacted, phone number is redacted. Referred to the scene supplemental report for interview. And we have Sicily Pizza, 6421A, and they list the address. So these are actual locations, and I guess they are giving statements. Redacted, heard gunshots, didn't see anything. And then they have the information listed for these people at this restaurant, and everything is redacted except for the date of birth year and how many individuals there were. So 70-year date of birth is 74, date of birth 81, and date of birth 79. And then they also canvassed the Cricket store, but it was closed. Swisher and Sweets, and the address is listed, and the person there was a date of birth year of 84, and heard gunshots but didn't see anything. They also canvassed the beauty supply store, and that was closed. This case remains suspended. So we're scrolling down to the next document. Is a method CAU report. This tends to have like the DNA evidence found on it. Sometimes, not all the time. So we'll just scroll through and see what we can see. All right, well, that was the end of that document. Didn't have anything new. And now we have a reclassified document, which is interesting. And this is a homicide and first degree murder. And this was submitted February 24th, 2012. All right. And this is a field investigation reclassify report. And it lists the victim, and the suspects are still unknown. And of course, it lists the victim injuries, the weather and lighting during the crime, the personnel assigned, the witnesses, and the incident notifications. And we get down to an investigation part here. On February 20th, 2012, Sherrod Liggins expired from his injuries sustained on February 16th, 2012, when he received a gunshot wound to his head. Liggins was pronounced at 22:51 hours by Dr. Cabrera at Stroger Hospital. Liggins' medical examiner case number is redacted. This case is reclassified to homicide, IUCR 0110. And not sure if you guys remember, but from the original part one of this document, it was classified as an aggravated battery. And so they have seemingly reclassified this to a homicide at this point. Just something to note in case we might have missed that. And the next document we have is a progress report, and this one was submitted March 15th, 2012. And so this is most likely just an update or a status update to the homicide that the officers will give, and submit all of the updated information that they have. And so we'll go through that and see if we see anything new. Gunshot injuries, gunshot wound that entered his posterior mid-right head and exited his right eyebrow. Pronounced February 20th, 2012 at 22:51 hours by Dr. Cabrera at Stroger Hospital. Medical examiner case number is redacted. And they have some photographs of Sherrod Liggins that they took, and they have some evidence that they inventoried: a blood card, 2 copies of DVD footages from pods located on 63 redacted Dr. Martin Luther King and 64 redacted South Eberhart. And they have some black and white photographs of some redacted, pointing a handgun as an inventory. And they have some investigative alerts for one Granger Eric, IR number redacted, and this IA number is redacted. And there are seemingly 2 more underneath of this name that are redacted. Personnel assigned, and that's just the cops assigned to the case. Interviewed, they have some people that they interviewed, and I'll just read off the year because that's the only thing that is actually not redacted, and the person amount of people. So date of birth 84, year 1, 53, date of birth year 1, 93, date of birth year 1, 63 year date of birth 1, 56 date of birth year 1, 76 date of birth year 1, 85 date of birth year 1, 70 date of birth year 1. And all of their cell phone and residence is redacted as expected. All All right, and so we're down in an investigation on redacted February 12th. Second watch detectives beat 5213, Detective Braun number 20810, and Detective Reza number 20802. Obtain video footage from AutoZone. Additionally, Detective Braun and Detective Reza met with P.O. Osuna from the CPD OCD Tech Lab and obtained a working copy of the footage captured by Swisher and Sweets. P.O. Osuna told the detectives that he would make copies of the DVDs from both the AutoZone and Swisher and Sweets, and that they would be available to pick up the following day. On redacted February 12th, the reporting detectives contacted redacted witness to the shooting, redacted. Redacted following in essence and not verbatim, and there's a big redaction block. And then we come into the second document, and majority of this document is redacted except for the words male blacks. So we're scrolling down some to a non-redacted section of this document, and we'll start off at the words, the reporting detective submitted an evidence submission form to the Illinois State Police Forensic Science Center at Chicago to have the recovered fired cartridge cases and the recovered fired bullets examined. On redacted February 12th at redacted hours, the reporting detectives located redacted. The reporting detectives identified redacted as an individual that had been inside of Swisher and Sweet. Redacted following in essence and not verbatim, heard numerous gunshots. Redacted after interviewing redacted, the reporting or responding detectives redacted. The responding detectives redacted. The responding detectives attempted to locate redacted two of the individuals that were redacted, vacant lot near the alley when the shots fired. The reporting detectives were unsuccessful in locating them. The reporting detectives attempted to re-interview redacted. The reporting detectives redacted. The reporting detectives left a message redacted. The reporting detectives then redacted, no one was home. The reporting detectives returned to Area 2, redacted, IR number is redacted. On redacted February 12th, the reporting detectives attempted to locate redacted. This was a redacted, name was not on any of the mailboxes, and reporting detectives were not able to identify what company managed the property. The reporting detectives returned to the 64 redacted block of South Vernon and conducted another canvass. Refer to the canvass case supplemental report for the results. On February 20th, 2012, Liggins expired from his injuries. Liggins was pronounced by Dr. Cuebera at 22:51 hours at Stroger Hospital. Liggins was assigned medical examiner case number redacted. On February 12th, on February redacted 2012, Area 2 HDS Supervisor Sergeant Big took a message from an individual that identified redacted. Sergeant Big redacted heard from anonymous individuals on the street that redacted was responsible for shooting Liggins. Redacted Sergeant Big redacted. The responding detectives, were unable to determine redacted. On February 22nd, 2012, Dr. McGillicott performed an autopsy on the remains of Sherrod Liggins and determined the cause and manner of death to be gunshot wound of head/homicide. On February 23rd, 2012, the reporting detectives went to the CPD OCD Tech Lab and obtained 4 copies of video footage from Swisher and Sweets and 4 copies of footage from AutoZone. The DVD labels and the manila sleeves that the DVDs were in were mislabeled, i.e. DVDs labeled Swisher and Sweets are AutoZone and vice versa. The responding detectives inventoried the original and 2 copies of each DVD. The responding detectives placed a DVD of each in the homicide file. The responding detectives viewed the video footage from the AutoZone and the camera mounted on the east wall faced north, so it did not capture the shooting. The responding detectives viewed the footage from Swisher and Sweets on February 16th, 2012. On February 24th, 2012, Detective Sullivan contacted Redacted and interviewed Redacted, received the information about Redacted from an unknown individual, Redacted. On February Redacted 2012, the responding detectives received a supplemental report that had a contact number for Redacted. The responding detectives called Redacted and interviewed Redacted. All right, then we have Redacted. Following in essence and not verbatim, redacted individual that told redacted that redacted would be able to recognize the shooters if redacted saw them again. Redacted stated that redacted had no further information about this. Redacted. On March, redacted 2012, the reporting detectives located redacted. Redacted the following in essence and not verbatim, and there's a redaction block after that. In the next paragraph, we pick up behind the redaction. Two male blacks walking southbound down the alley before the shooting. And then there's a redaction block after that. After interviewing redacted, the responding detectives attempted to locate Dunn and Camper with no success. The responding detectives left their business card redacted. On redacted March 2012, Detective Sullivan viewed the video footage from pod number redacted. And it lists the address, and pod number redacted. It lists the address. The responding detectives observed nothing relevant on these DVDs. Detective Sullivan then listened to the 911 and the OEMC transmissions from February 16, 2012. No additional information was obtained. On March redacted 2012, redacted called Detective Sullivan and stated, redacted, responding detective should, redacted, the responding detective redacted information since the responding detective redacted following information. And the next portion of that is redacted as well. And starting at the responding detectives viewed redacted. Some of redacted comments were hostile, but there was nothing written that could implicate redacted. On redacted March 2012, the responding detectives had a message. Redacted called with information on the Liggins murder. The responding detectives called redacted. Redacted RDs, the responding detectives, and then there's redaction. We start off with another redaction, and the following it says following in essence and not verbatim, and that follows up another big redaction block. And then we start off at responding detectives with any information that, and then that is also redacted. And we got to be mindful that while frustrating, this is for the safety of the people. When they do these big redactions. So redactions talk to the responding detectives. Redaction, responding detectives, 3 photos that he had pulled off of Facebook. One was a photo redaction. After interviewing redacted, the responding detectives redacted located and interviewed the 3 individuals that were in the alley/vacant lot repairing vehicles when the shooting occurred. The responding detectives located redacted and interviewed redacted. Redacted the vacant lot working on a vehicle by the alley. Redacted heard gunshots. Redacted did not see the shooters or the shooting. Redacted. The responding detectives returned to Area 2 and checked iClear for redacted. The responding detectives identified redacted, IR numbers redacted. The responding detectives believe that DJ his name is listed, IR number redacted, also known by the nickname Day Day. On March redacted 2012, the reporting detectives went to 72 redacted South Maplewood in an attempt to locate redacted. Redacted the others when the shooting occurred. The responding detectives spoke to redacted. The responding detectives left their business card. The responding detectives went to redacted and located redacted, interviewed. And then we have another redaction following in essence and not verbatim, and there's a redaction block after that. And we'll pick back up in a second section, paragraph, and it has a redaction before that in male blacks, and there's a redaction after that that says we'll pick up at male blacks that is not redacted. And then moving down to the next redacted section, there's a few words not redacted, and that is heard 5 or more gunshots. All right, and then picking back up, after interviewing redacted, the responding detectives attempted to locate redacted. The responding detectives left their business card. At redacted hours, redacted contacted Detective Sullivan, and redacted was interviewed telephonically. All right, redacted stated the following in essence and not verbatim. Redacted stated that redacted when numerous gunshots were fired. Redacted didn't hear any specific names or factions. The responding detectives initiated investigative alerts for redacted, witnessed the shooting. Additionally, the responding detectives initiated an investigative alert for redacted. This case remains in progress. All right, and scrolling down to another document we have is a second progress report. And this was submitted on March 21st, 2012. Excuse me. And we're scrolling down. I hope everyone's having a great Friday as well. So we're going to scroll down some. All right, we're going to get into this investigation. They have an interviewed block, and they have the date of birth year that is not redacted, and it's 59. And we'll pick up at the investigation on March redacted 2012. Redacted by Beat 306A for drinking on the public way. A name check was conducted on redacted, or O is just listed, and it was discovered that redacted investigative alert with no probable cause for arrest. IA number is redacted regarding the homicide of Sherrod Liggins. Redacted, reporting detectives, and he was transported to Area South. And we have a second redacted block next, and the words that are not redacted are following in essence and not verbatim. February 12th, did not hear who was responsible for the murder of Liggins. This case remains in progress. That is the end of that document. We're getting down to another supplementary report, which is a morgue report. All right, get down. Keep scrolling. Listing the witnesses. All right, we're at an investigation, and it says that Dr. McGillicott performed an autopsy on the remains of Sherrod Liggins and determined the cause and manner of death to be gunshot wound of head/homicide. External examination, gunshot wound, redacted posterior mid right head, redacted right eyebrow. All right, and then they have the eye clear, inventory, black and white of all the inventory pictures that they have. More inventory. Scroll past this. Crime scene report. More inventory. Fired bullets, inventory. A lot of digital cameras. Some of that photos. More evidence inventory. Yep. All right. And this is some more inventory information. A lot of evidence. It seems mostly shell casings. All right, and we'll read the remarks. And they have an RD number listed. Was previously identified to, redacted. Based on an inquiry directed to the area evidence coordinator and detective analysis on inventories number redacted has been deferred at this time. Future analysis on these items must be accompanied by a new request. All right. And next we have a criminal history report. Seems to be for Sherrod Liggins. And it lists his information there with the address redacted, of course. And the date of birth is redacted. And as I mentioned in other videos, I really don't go through the arrest history. It's really not what this is about. All right, so for the next document we have is a Chicago Police Department arrest report, excuse me. And only reason I wanted to slide past that information there, I don't want to expose any addresses, anything tied to anybody that CPD may have not redacted. So we're just going to skip that little part right there. And we'll go to the location. But the individual's name, if you caught it, you saw it. Okay? But we'll find out all that information later. So we have incident here and arrest date June 26, 2014, 2100 hours, 1500 hours, excuse me, at a location here listed. When this person was arrested. And these are the charges at the time of the arrest: reckless driving, no valid registration, insurance, operate motor vehicle without. All right, and so here we're getting down into the arrest reporting. We have an incident narrative, Event number 15546 in summary. This is an on-view arrest, by beat 4311E, area north, saturation in that above subject, and it lists his name, was driving above listed vehicle eastbound on Hirsch near above location. Johnson offender was observed by responding officers driving at an excessive speed near above location. Speed was so excessive that that vehicle hit a road obstruction and went airborne. Above location is a residential side street with one-way traffic eastbound. Redacted. Responding officers was in a marked police vehicle and observed incident as offender drove past police vehicle. Responding officers curbed vehicle at above location and conducted further investigation. Approaching the vehicle, responding officers observed a strong smell of cannabis from the vehicle. Johnson stated to responding officers, redacted, further investigation revealed that Johnson offender had an active investigative alert. Number redacted. No probable cause to arrest. Alert alleged that the offender was the shooter in a homicide. Detective Area South notified. Notification listed above. Further investigation also revealed offender also had no proof of insurance. Offender was placed in custody and transported to Unit 025 for processing. All right, and it lists the court information there for that case, for the arrest. And we're just scrolling down, getting down into the documents here. They have a request for assistance document. All right. And now we're getting into some of the progress report, the actual handwritten progress reports from the detectives. So we'll read through these. Sometimes you get some information in these as well. So we start off with a big redaction block, and this is all handwritten by the detective. I want to reiterate, but so the year is 89 for this individual, and the name is seemingly redacted. And we'll start at the words dated about 15 months, conflict between BD's Parkway and GD's, and I believe that's EBT. Heard the nickname redacted as possible shooter. And then they have a big redaction block under that, and that's it for that document. Going to the next handwritten document report, we have a redaction block, DJ supposedly redacted, killed. Then we have underneath of that, P.O. McCabe 022, faxed info 4 redacted. And then we have another redacted block. It starts off at September 15th at, and then redaction. And then it also says on there, heard on street, DJ redacted killed Liggins. Heard DJ is now dead. Responding officers spoke to DJ on June 26, 2014. Responding officers searched department records for the name. Was arrested as recent as the 23rd of July, 2015. Court records show in custody at recent court date, and it lists his court date. All right, and they have on the next document, June 26th, a Wednesday at, and they list the time, and they have the offender's name, and then there's a redaction block, some text next to that I can't make out, but then there's a redaction after that. And then I think this says now or nov at, and then there's redaction after that. Yeah, the document wasn't really legible much. So going down to the next document we have, and the date of birth year is unredacted. Then we go to showed photo of Liggins. Liggins had been killed on Facebook. Well, there's a redaction block just to give context to that statement. Redaction block in front of that, and then the detective wrote Liggins had been killed on Facebook, redaction. So we're assuming there's context before and after that. Then after that sentence, we get to another unredacted part. It says showed photo of Dayton Johnson, redacted. And then this murder, redacted. All right, getting down to the next document, we have a redaction block that has possible suspects. Then it lists DJ or date A. It lists the offender's name and redaction blocks after that. Then we have another document with the unredacted date of birth year is 83. And unredacted text on this document says saw shooting, didn't see who shot, didn't hear who did shooting. Right? And we're getting to the next document. This individual's birth year is 1970. And the first word is redacted. Hours telephonic is not. The next unredacted words are saw 2 male blacks. And then there's another saw the 2 male blacks, and then the rest is redacted. Next document, we have a complete redaction except for the words heard gunshots. All right, and on the next document, we have Detective J. Brown and A. Reza obtained video footage from the AutoZone. They met P.O. Vincent Osuna from the Tech Lab and obtained video footage from Swisher and Sweets, and then they did an evidence submission form. So they're just stating what they did at 2100 hours. So there's a redaction block here. Unredacted is the year 85, and we assume that this is another statement from some person, as it's listed as one individual born in year 1985. At 2100 hours, saw video footage from Swisher and Sweets and recognized redacted. Heard numerous gunshots, did not see the shooting. And then there's all redaction after that. And there is something unredacted down here that says learn through eye clear redaction at the very bottom of that document. All right, and then we have on the next one, went to interview following on redacted February 12. Number 1 is unredacted. Next to that is redaction, no answer. 2, redaction, left card, and message. February 12th, redacted. We have 1, 2, and 3 unredacted. On the third redaction line, it lists no answer, left card. So I assume they're interviewing or just the canvas. Yeah, here we go. Did canvases. Seems they did a canvas on Vernon, and they're doing the canvas and documenting that there. All right, and this is another canvas, I would imagine. Redaction, left message on redaction, February 12 at redaction, call back, left message, or maybe a follow-up from a witness. All right, in the next document we have listed Sherrod Liggins, EXP, redacted 12 at 22:50 hours, pronounced by Dr. Kebarura. And then they have the autopsy listed and the cause and manner. It's a gunshot wound to the head / homicide. All right, and then on the next document, we have Sergeant Big took following call, and I'll just read all the unredacted parts. Sergeant Big took following call, heard on the street that DJ, redacted, DJ was shooter, redacted. Redacted, Detective Moore called and left message, and it was sometime in 2012. This is also sometime in 2012. Had any additional information? Detective Sullivan called at 18:30 hours, redacted. The street and passing out flyers. Person told him this, didn't know person's name or how they obtained this info. So a lot of the times the citizens do come through, for detectives, and in terms of, dropping information that may, have like crumbs that lead to the, piece of the puzzle, so to speak, kind of thing. So they do get help from citizens, just not all the time, it seems. I just wanted to note that. And then on our next document, we have a year 76, one individual. The only words redacted on this document are saw them, call, responding detectives. All right, going down to the next document, we have one person born in the year 63, and everything is redacted except for the words, one offender had a black hoodie, one offender had checkered pants. And then we go into the next document, review pods, redacted and redacted. Nothing regarding shooting, inventory number is redacted. Listen to 911 calls /OEMC, trans, No added information, info obtained. Inventory CD and event query. Inventory number is redacted. All right, and this document is upside down, so let's see if we can rotate that. All right. All right. And we got 911 tapes, 65th at MLK AutoZone, shot in redacted, shot in parking lot of AutoZone, redacted. 64th and King Drive, redacted, got shot, AutoZone parking lot. Do you know who shot him? No. Redacted, 64th and MLK Drive, 5 shots fired. All right. Redacted, Strogers, I believe that is. Male 1, 12 is only redacted. 64th and Vernon, 5 gunshots, did not see anything. And then this is another document with 911 tapes at the top of it. Swisher Suites, shooting inside the store. 64th and King Drive, redacted, someone was shot. Redacted, ambulance at and PD to 63rd and something. Someone's been shot, 63rd at the AutoZone, King Drive. So I guess these are the 911 calls that the detective listened to. Some redacted, someone has been shot. So you're getting a lot of calls from 911 regarding this. Redacted, shots fired, shot in the parking lot of AutoZone. Yeah, so a lot of people were reporting this homicide. Need more, 911 tapes. We're on another document with 911 tapes at the top at this point. Need more cars, large crowd here. Ambulance number 14 en route, redacted, crime scene in alley. Come in East Alley. 5 cartridge casings redacted. Number 1, male black, believe white hoodie maybe. Number 2, blue puffy jacket with gray or white hoodie. And that's it for that document. And we're on to the next document. This is not a 911 recording document that it says. It's just not listed. So we'll start off at redacted, responsible for killing Liggins, period, on Facebook. All right. And we have next sent info on redacted, and then there's nothing but redaction after that. All right, we're on to the next document. We have redaction 12/10/45. Then we have another redaction. We have 1 year, birth year should be 84. And then there's redaction. The unredacted words are regarding Liggins' murder. Called at redacted hours, no answer. Mailbox next setup, not set up yet. All right, and then under that they have redacted DJ, and then they have 83rd and Woodlawn, and then they have an address underneath of that listed with redaction 17 redacted West 91st Street, and then there's redaction under that. In the next block we have gave responding detectives redacted, DJ was shooter, and then a big redaction block after that. Down to the next document, we have one individual. This may be year 56 of his date of birth. I'm uncertain. And we'll start off with the unredacted words. Heard gunshots. Did not see the shooting. Did not see the shooters. Redacted. All right. And then we have 1 year 53 individual. Heard gunshots, 5 or more. Offenders ran southbound, then eastbound through lot. Didn't hear. Redacted. All right, then the next document we have 1 male, 93, and then their hours are redacted, and then this was telephonic, and he says numerous shots fired. All right, and I'm gonna scroll past that because that was unredacted there by CPD, but this statement is in vacant lot, saw 4 suspects, male blacks, looking through cracks in wooden fence, redacted. All right, and then we have a canvas document, and this is them going around the scene and asking questions. Redacted vacant, redacted no answer. 1 person heard about 6 gunshots. 1 person just heard gunshots. And then 1 person heard about 4 shots and didn't look out. And that's that canvas. And we have no answer, no answer, no answer. So they're going to doors and not getting answers. And then they went to the Sicily Pizza at 64 redacted address. And they had a couple people they interviewed that were born in the year 64, a couple in 81, and a couple in the year 79. Right? And this is a progress report for the canvas still. And the whole document's redacted except for the year for individuals born in the year of 84. And on this document also is a canvas of the crime scene. Everything is redacted except for they're interviewing two individuals, heard 5 gunshots. One of the individuals heard 5 gunshots, excuse me. Here we go, next line. Anonymous, redacted 1, heard gunshots, and then there's a big redaction block there. And on the next document, we have a follow-up canvas, and this individual didn't see or hear anything. One individual heard 7 gunshots, and then one individual has a statement, but it's completely redacted, and then there's no answer. And then we have a progress report that has AutoZone written at the top, and it states Area Central HDS. Enclosed are 2 DVDs from cameras related to the Sherrod Liggins homicide reported under RD number listed. Copies of these DVDs have been inventoried. Please put these in the homicide file for reference. Thanks. And then they listed detectives, Area South. And then we have the Clear Database Warehouse investigative alerts, and these are all redacted. And we get down to, it seems to be a cover letter for a fax of some sort. And we're going to scroll past that. Oh, okay, evidence and photographs. And yes, that is the last page of the document. But as you can see here, it went from an aggravated battery, which we saw through our read, that turned into a homicide. And it's probably where they were following up on everything with the documents, as they were getting, probably some statements from people at the scene now saying that, this was actually a homicide. But thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, definitely hit that subscribe button, because I will be bringing you some more information, and I do read all the comments, so definitely comment and like the video. And yes, I will be getting a new mic. I'm just starting out, but that's going to be one of the first things that I get. So thank you so much, everybody, and have a great day. Have a great Friday. Peace.